Welcome to the Georgia State Sports Update. Dave Cohen back in studio, joined by Georgia State's head football coach Trent Miles. Week 1 is in the books, and Coach, welcome. Appreciate you joining us. A tough one in the Dome on Friday. It was kind of an odd time to play a Friday afternoon game, and Charlotte got out of there with a 3-point win, but a valiant effort at the end by Georgia State, and just not enough time at the end in order to complete the turnaround as we were playing much better football in the fourth and final quarter.
Well, I thought for the most part, for the time slot that we had, I thought we had a good crowd. They were loud. We heard them, and we appreciate all their support. Very disappointing, and what we've got to get away from is worrying about valiant effort and worrying about winning football games, and that's the disappointing part about it.
Well, certainly, you look at that first quarter, and as you told us on the radio, we just got off to a tough start. First 5 possessions, it ended up being 3 turnovers, kind of dug ourselves in a little bit of a hole, and we were digging ourselves out of that hole as the game progressed, and right up until the very end.
Well, our defense gave us an opportunity to do that. They played extremely well. They held them to 16 points, and they got 10 of those 16 points off of turnovers. So, I thought we proved that. Offensively, it was very disappointing, and we've got to do a better job as an offensive coaching staff of getting our guys, to perform when they're on the stage. So they do well in practice, and then they get right there in the game. I never thought it would be the offensive side of the ball, but it was, and we've got to fix that and go into New Mexico State and battle.
One of the new guys on this football team is one of the transfers from Alabama Birmingham, Sun Belt Conference Defensive Player honors this week. All 5 takeaways, Bobby Baker. And as you said, the defense doing a great job keeping us in this ball game. And, of course, he was just, it seemed like everywhere the ball was, you could see number 2, Bobby Baker.
Bobby has a good nose for the football, did a really good job being where he needed to be. And, it's when you're where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, usually good things happen. So we're really glad that he was able to do that. But he also got some help from other guys that you didn't see. I mean, they helped cause some of those turnovers. And I thought for the most part, as a whole entire group, the defense did a really good job.
Yeah, defense doing a really good job keeping Georgia State in this football game within striking distance. And as we mentioned, 9 total impact plays on defense, or actually 10. We were debating the number of sacks, but I had it with 4. I think they changed it to 5. But ended up with 5 sacks to go along with the 5 Bobby Baker takeaways. And you're right, as you talk about how well the defensive unit played, did a good job getting to the quarterback and kind of causing a little bit of havoc and getting some pressure on him.
Yeah, when you play like that on defense, you got to win the football game.
Right.
I mean, in this day and age, if you defensively you hold a team to 16 points and 3.0 yards per carry in the rushing game, you got to win the game, and that's the disappointing part of it. And we've got to grow from it, and we've got to coach better, and we've got to go win.
Took Nick Arbuck, a little time to get warmed up, you think? I remember you and I talking about it was a good problem to have in trying to harness the energy going into that first game. How the energy going as you're going out onto the field, did you feel like you had to harness that? Were they a little bit maybe overly excited to get in the Dome and getting that first game going?
I don't think we played well on the offensive side of the football. That goes from Nick would be the first one to tell you he didn't think he played well. When you watch the film, there were some things. They didn't give us anything that we weren't prepared for. We practiced everything that they showed, and in some situations, you turn the ball over 3 times in the first quarter, and one of us they pick up and run for a 43-yard touchdown. You put yourself in a major hole, and we weren't able to ever get anything confidence-wise going on the offensive side until the very end, and then it's too late at this level. You can't put it off to the end.
Nick ended up throwing for 299 yards. You got a couple of guys, new faces on this team as well that stepped in and kind of made their mark. Penny Hart had a touchdown reception in that fourth quarter, and Taz Bateman came in, I thought, and under the conditions ran the ball pretty well.
Taz ran well. He has one he wish he had back where he tripped, going into he was going to score, and he tripped and slipped and fell down, and we didn't score in that position. We threw a pick in the end zone a couple plays later. So, I thought he ran well, and I thought Penny played well, and you'll see more of those guys as we keep going. And there's other young guys that played and did very well, and a lot of things you didn't see people don't see on special teams, where we had a lot of young guys like Ed Kearney and Chase Middleton and Benny Hart and Ari Wirtz that were contributing on special teams and did a really good job.
All right, as Coach mentioned, played a Friday afternoon game, kind of an odd time to play, but pretty good crowd in the Georgia Dome on Friday. You guys said that you could hear it, and what does that bring to the football team when you come out in your opener? You've got a pretty good crowd out there for a Friday afternoon in the Dome.
It just brings more energy. You know, you always feed off energy in the stadium, and the more people you can have out there, the better. And we're very appreciative of the people that showed up and how loud they were.
A lot of Panther pride in the Georgia Dome last Friday for the Georgia State football opener. Our cameras were there to capture it all around the Georgia Dome. Again, a great crowd in the Georgia Dome for the Panthers opener against the Charlotte 49ers. And again, talking with Georgia State's head football coach Trent Miles. And boy, it kind of starts a little bit of a gauntlet right now as far as the next two games, only with regards to travel, because we got to go all the way out to Las Cruces, New Mexico this weekend to take on the Aggies of New Mexico State. I won't mention who comes up after that. We'll talk about that next week. But again, you know, we got an early Sun Belt Conference game, same situation as a year ago. This time we've got to go to them and take on New Mexico State Saturday night.
And we're going to have to learn how to finish on the road. We haven't won a road game, so we've got to be able to go out and be road warriors and learn how to finish the game. Just opposite of what we did last year. You know, we let it go in the last 15 seconds. So, you know, it'll be a battle. They've got a good football team. Doug Martin does a great job. He's a good person, and they've got a really good running back. Their quarterback is back. They've got a nice receiver that can play, a big offensive line. They're much improved on defense, much improved up front. They're really solid in the secondary, and they've got length at linebacker. So, you know, we will have our hands full, just like we will every weekend. We've got to go play our brand of football, and if we can put together, which we haven't been able to do, if we can put together 4 quarters of offense, defense, special teams, and coach them the right way, we'll have a chance to win the game.
Coach, you were telling me on the radio show, don't let that 61-13 final score in their loss to Florida down in Gainesville this past week kind of give you the wrong impression. They're a little bit better maybe than that score indicates. It's always tough to go to Gainesville.
Yeah, they're a lot better than that score. You can't pay attention to the score. Anytime you're stepping up and having to travel cross country to play a money game against a Power 5 team, and especially in the swamp in Florida, you know, it's always going to be difficult. So Florida's got a lot of really good-looking athletes on the field. They're a lot better than that score, and I guarantee you that we're going to have to bring our A game to have a chance.
You mentioned him, their running back, Larry Rose III, pretty solid carrying the football, but I noticed he had 42, 43 yards receiving as well, so he's another one of these, and we say it all the time, one of these dual threat guys out of the backfield.
Yes, they use him well, they scheme it well, and he does a really good job. He's in his second year now, and he's a lot more comfortable in his protections and in the pass game, so they'll use that weapon.
And their quarterback, Tyler Rogers, 14 of 27, 128 yards and 1 touchdown. So against a pretty good Florida defense, or at least an improved Florida defense, and we'll have to keep an eye on him as well.
Yeah, he throws a deep ball well. You know, the number 1 corner in the nation coming out in the draft is at Florida, and they were able to attack him once or twice, and he throws a really good ball, and you know, he'll also have some patience and sit in there and then pull it down and run it when he needs to. So we've got to do an outstanding job again on defense. We've got to be able to control the ball some on offense to keep their offense off the field, and we can't turn the ball over. So, you know, we need to go in there and take care of that football and play lights out.
Finally, it's always interesting taking a football team, and you've been doing this for years, the first time you take a team on the road for the first time in a season, especially the guys that are new and that haven't done this before.
Yeah, well, we go over quite thoroughly with them. They know what to wear, how to act, and where to be. So, you know, that's the responsibility of us as coaches and the older guys on the team. We've got enough leadership now with Joe Petersons and Nick Arbuckles and Keith Ruckers and other guys on the team that you know, they've been through it. So, you know, we'll calm them down and make sure that they're where they need to be, and we won't leave anybody stranded at the airport and or at the hotel, and we'll go play, and we'll play well this game.
By the way, one other question coming out of week 1 as you head into week 2, and you mentioned Joe Peterson, which kind of reminded me, how about your linebackers this week with the additions of Caleb Ringer and Alonzo McGee and Michael Shaw and even McKendy, although he's more up on the line, but how well they played?
Yeah, they did some really good things. You know, there's always room for improvement, and we're looking for huge improvement from game 1 to game 2. You know, usually that's when a team makes its most improvement, so we've got to be able to go out and do that. And you know, we played well on the defensive side, but we still have a lot of room to improve on.
All right, a lot of interest on the Georgia State campus and Georgia State football as we head into week 2. Time now, as our cameras have been all across campus, asking students for their questions this week for head coach Trent Miles.
My name's Peyton Reed. I'm a junior at Georgia State University with a journalism major. My question for today is, who are your team captains and how are they chosen?
Coach, question number 1 from one of our students on campus. Who are the team captains this year and what roles do they play? And I guess maybe taking it one step further, how were they chosen?
Well, we don't have team captains until the end of the year. What we do is we choose them for every game. It goes game by game. Our first game were the guys that were elected to captains at the end of last year. Joe Peterson on defense, Nick Arbuckle on offense, and Keith Rucker on special teams. We'll choose those captains for the next game, for this game coming up on Friday, the night before the game, so they'll have a chance to talk to the football team. And that's how we do it. We do it for every game. And then at the end of the year, the players vote on who's the captain for the season on each position, offense, defense, special teams. So we come up with that. It's based on how they perform off the field as well as on the field and how important they are. It's huge. When you have to have leadership in your program, that leadership can't just come from football coaches. It has to come from the players, and it's very, very important to have somebody in that huddle and on that field that the other players can lean to and look at and feel encouraged by. So, you know, those are the criteria. They've got to perform well away from football, in the classroom, in society, and they have to perform well in the weight room, in the meeting room, and on the field. And we pick them for every game, and then at the end of the year, the players pick who they want for the season.
My name's James Bellows. I'm a PhD student in biology, and I was wondering, how did you get into coaching, and how would a student like me get into coaching as well?
All right, Coach, the second question from one of our students on campus is about getting into coaching. When did you know that you wanted to get into being a college football coach? And again, you've been at a number of schools as you have climbed the ladder to being a head coach at both Indiana State and now here at Georgia State. Going back, what was it that kind of turned you on to wanting to get into coaching?
Well, I figured I was going to be a coach when I was a wide receiver at Indiana State, and I think we were playing at the University of Kansas. They had a linebacker named Willie Pless that was pretty good. and he tried to cover me vertical, and I couldn't outrun him. So I figured that if I can't outrun a linebacker, I'm probably not going to make it in the NFL, so I'm going to get into coaching. So I knew it when I was playing.
Hi, Coach. My name is Callie Mann. I'm a senior journalism major here at Georgia State University. And my question for you is, what's more important for a student athlete to be successful, talent or preparation?
And Coach, our final question from one of our Georgia State students, what would you consider to be more important as a student athlete? The athletic talent or the preparation, or both?
Both. You have to have both. You have to be able to prepare, but you have to have the talent to play at the Division I level, the FBS level, whatever you want to call it. But preparation is the key to winning football games, and having yourself and your team prepared is a great thing. But also there has to be talent on the football field to be able to go out and perform how you've prepared all week.
Well, Coach, appreciate you being here. Got a busy week as always now. We're on the treadmill, the college football treadmill. It's week after week after week, and looking forward to, I know, getting out to Las Cruces and seeing how this team bounces back out of week one.
I'm really looking forward to getting on the road and getting our young men back on the field. It's different. We explained to them football is different than any sport. Basketball, you probably play every 2-3 nights. Baseball, you'll play every night. And so you can get the bad taste of a loss out of your mouth. In football, you got to wait a whole week before you can go out there and get that taste out of your mouth. So we're looking forward to getting back out on that field and getting out to Las Cruces and trying to get a victory.
All right, appreciate it. We'll see you here next week.
Look forward to it.
All right, I want to thank Coach Miles for joining us. And as we continue on with this week's show, of course, exciting times at Georgia State. All of us that are on campus have watched that brand new law school and law library go up downtown. And one of our fifth-year seniors, she's a first-year law student, Keaton Ajanaku, right now going to take us on a tour of that brand new Georgia State University Law School.
Hi, my name is Keaton Ajanaku. I'm a volleyball player here at Georgia State University, and I'm also a first-year law student. We're here at the Georgia State University College of Law, located at 85 Park Place on the corner of John Wesley Dobbs, across the street from the Georgia Pacific Center. This $82.5 million building opened August 2015. It's 200,000 square feet and will accommodate 800 students. This is the Catherine Hinson Atrium. This is usually where we'll meet after class and meet up with study groups, have lunch, or just talk about what happened in class that day. This is our 230-seat auditorium, ceremonial courtroom, and jury room. The auditorium is used for moot court, mock trial, litigation classes, and competition. Every 2 years, the Supreme Court of Georgia holds hearings on campus. Those will occur here. We're outside of the 6th floor on this outdoor terrace. It's 1,500 square feet. It overlooks Woodruff Park, and it's right in the center of downtown Atlanta. We come out here to study, to eat, to talk, and it's one of my favorite places to study.
And we want to thank Keaton Ajanaku for taking us on a tour of the brand new law school and law library. Looking forward myself to getting in and taking a look. As I said, busy time in Georgia State athletics, and this week on the schedule for Georgia State athletics, coming up on Saturday, September 12, Georgia State football. Again, we're on the road at New Mexico State out in Las Cruces, New Mexico. You can watch it on ESPN3. Catch us on the radio on 1340 The Fan 3 and 88.5 FM in Atlanta. That is an 8 o'clock kickoff. Friday and Saturday, September 11 and 12, all-day events. Georgia State Volleyball Invitational, hosting that downtown Atlanta at the GSU Sports Arena. Coming up on Friday, September the 18th at 5 o'clock, women's soccer hosting Belmont. That's at the GSU Soccer Complex. Also on Friday, September 18th at 8 p.m., men's soccer hosting Brown. That's also at the GSU Soccer Complex. And that is what's on the schedule this week in Georgia State athletics. Time now for our Panther Pump segment here on our show, and this is an opportunity for you to get involved. And we're going to check in with Scott Holsopple, our head of strength and conditioning. As last week he taught everyone on the show how to do the perfect push-up. This week, Scott's going to show us how to do the perfect chin-up.
First, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Scott Holsopple. I'm the head strength and conditioning coach for Georgia State University. Alongside me is one of my assistants, Coach Kobe Kramer. First, obviously, before starting any physical activity, even to improve your sport or just to get more healthier or fit, you should already have seen a doctor. Make sure you've gone over every health concern and make sure that you've cleared a physical as well before beginning. Next, before moving into an exact specific exercise, we're going to cover some of the basics. Some of the basics is, number one, you have to be disciplined, you have to be consistent, and you have to work hard. Nothing that you're going to be able to achieve that you want to see measurable gains is going to be done without those things. Moving on to the next exercise is we're going to demonstrate what a perfect chin-up looks like. Anytime we train the body, as you've seen on a perfect push-up, we also want to train the back of the body to make sure that your body stays in sequence. So it's going to be a chin-up. Not only do I want you to pay attention to the actual Coach Kramer over here doing the exercise, I want you to pay attention on how the exercise is also spotted. We encourage our athletes and actually make it mandatory that you spot your partner, not only for safety reasons, but also to make sure that person's keeping the great technique and make sure that you're pushing them, because I'll show you some different techniques that you can use at the end of your exercise to get the most bang for your buck. Now we're going to get into that perfect chin-up position that we talked about before. Coach Kramer is going to take up to the bar, chin up, palms facing towards you. So he has an underhand grip on the bar. The start position isn't jumping into the exercise. He's going to take his feet off the ground, and now he's hanging. This is his start-finish position. He's going to pull all the way up, under control, chin above bar. Then he's going to lower himself under control. That'd be, right now, that's one repetition. Right back up, down, that's two. So you count at the bottom. Keep going, Coach Kramer. He's going to give us as many as he can, perfect, under control, not speeding up his form. His technique stays the same. I'm spotting him behind him to watch. He's going all the way down, watch he's going all the way up, and whenever he fails, because we're going to failure, I'm going to assist him, because your body will fail in percentages, not all or none. That's the way, Coach Kramer. All the way down, big pull up, squeeze the bar. I'm ready to spot. Another rep, another rep, another rep. Right there, all the way up. And big drive up. All the way up, 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 up. Now I'm assisting him all the way up to the pot. Pause it, take it under control. Under control on the way down. He catches his feet, and he's done. That's how you do a perfect chin-up. Once again, you just saw how to do a perfect chin-up. I want to say thanks again. I'm Scott Holsopple, the head strength conditioning coach at Georgia State University. Until next time, keep doing things perfect and hard.
And we want to thank Scott and Cody for this week's Panther Pump. Hopefully you'll work on your chin-ups before our show next week. Again, we got Georgia State football on the road. We're heading to Las Cruces, New Mexico. Saturday night, Georgia State and New Mexico State. You can watch it on ESPN3. Listen to us on the radio on 1340 The Fan 3 and 88.5 FM in Atlanta. We'll be back next week with head coach Trent Miles. We'll be looking forward to Georgia State's trip out to Eugene, Oregon to take on the University of Oregon Ducks. For the entire crew, for Coach Miles, I'm Dave Cohen. Thanks for watching the Georgia State Sports Update.